Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode something pretty wild, a concept that's part cosmic map, part project management tool. And where it all starts? Well, that's the really unexpected part.
So let's just jump right in with a question that might sound a little out there. But according to our source material, the answer is a big yes. It turns out a simple PlayStation controller, a game controller, might just hold the key to understanding everything from battle strategy all the way up to the nature of destiny itself.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll hit the main principle of Gemini. Then we'll look at the two sides of it, the hands-on system and the cosmic constellation. From there, we'll see how it all connects to us, the human factor, and finally, wrap it all up in one unified idea. Okay, first things first, let's get into the core idea. When we say Gemini here, we're not just talking about the zodiac sign. Nope, think of it more as this fundamental principle of, well, twins, two interconnected sides that make up one single whole, and it governs, well, pretty much everything. So this Gemini principle really has two faces. On one side, you've got a super practical, hands-on system for managing allies, assigning tasks. But on the other side, it's this big, symbolic constellation that helps us understand cosmic relationships and even destiny. One is all about the how, the other is all about the why. All right, let's bring this down to earth and get practical with the Gemini system. And remember what I said earlier? It all comes back to that game controller. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of operators and assignments, basically the logic of how you get a team to work together. The source actually has a name for this, the cherubim formation. And get this, the triangle, box, cross, and circle buttons, they're not just for jumping or shooting. They represent these huge cosmic forces, heaven, earth, horizon, and immortality. Each button has this deep strategic meaning that's the foundation for a whole system of battle affinities. And this chart just lays out that strategic logic perfectly. Think of it like a super advanced version of rock, paper, scissors. You see heaven, represented by the triangle, is really powerful, right? But look, horizon, the cross button, is strong against it. And a lot of games, that's your guard button. So it's basically the only thing that can defend against what the source calls divine retribution. How cool is that? So this whole game controller logic, this is the engine that drives the Gemini system. It's basically a tool for managing your alliances, a way to coordinate your clan by assigning skills and tasks. But here's the key. It's not just about giving orders. Your efficiency, how well things get done, it's all tied to this really important loyalty and morale meter. And we see a great example of this with the treaty for Bahan's village. Check it out. This isn't some dictator just telling people what to do. It's more like a negotiation. Step 1, you lay out the terms. Step 2, you give them something valuable. In this case, skills. And step 3, you actively work to build up that loyalty. It's a real roadmap for creating a genuine partnership. And the result? This is the crucial part. As soon as the villagers got access to this powerful, kind of mysterious dream-weaving skill, their loyalty meter shot up by 30%, instantly. So it wasn't about the orders, it was about sharing something truly valuable, something that sparked their curiosity. That's what built the trust and morale. Okay, so we've seen the practical side. Now let's zoom out. Way out. We're going from the game controller in your hands all the way up to the stars in the sky. We're moving from the system to the Gemini constellation, and this is where things get cosmic.
So this whole cosmic side of things is governed by a principle called cardinality. You can think of it as destined affinity. The idea is that these four major cosmic powers are fated, destined to be connected to each other. But, and this is a big but, that connection isn't always a good thing. And right at the heart of this whole thing are the four sacred animals. Each one represents a direction, north, south, east, west, and a massive universal idea. You've got the phoenix for revival, the tortoise for defense and fellowship, the tiger for knowledge, and the dragon for total omniscience. These are the big players. Now, these animals don't operate alone. They have destined partners. So revival, the phoenix, is paired with knowledge, the tiger, and omniscience, the dragon, is paired with fellowship, the tortoise. These two powerhouse pairs are supposed to keep the entire cosmos in balance. But like I said, there's always a catch. And here it is, the big ironic twist, and this is a direct quote from Concordia. It says that whenever God wants to punish one of these cosmic powers, he almost always does it through their destined ally. Just let that sink in. The one you are fated to be closest to is the very one who could bring about your ruin. Okay, wow. So you have this huge cosmic drama of fated allies and potential betrayals. So what? How does that apply to us down here on Earth? Well, the source connects it to something we all do every single day, talking to each other. Think about it. Every single conversation you have works on this satisfaction versus irritability index. It's like with every word, every interaction, you're pushing one of two buttons. You're either hitting satisfaction and making that bond stronger, or you're hitting irritability and creating a little more distance. It's this constant, delicate dance. And this is where a hidden danger comes into play. The source calls it navigating the web of the spider. The idea is, if you keep pulling on the wrong emotional strings, if you generate too much of that negative energy, you risk attracting something else, unseen spirits that literally feed on that negativity. And the consequences of that, they're pretty serious. That negative energy doesn't just go away. It feeds these things called wraiths, and they just amplify it, making things even worse. It all gets collected in what's called the grapevine of wrath, and if you let it go unchecked, you're risking a much, much bigger disaster, a full-on calamity. Okay, let's pull all these threads together now. We started with a game controller, we moved to managing teams, we shot up to the stars with cosmic constellations, and we brought it all back down to a simple conversation. So what's the big takeaway? What does this Gemini principle really show us? It's this single, unified framework. It doesn't matter if you're managing a team project, trying to have a difficult conversation, or even trying to wrap your head around capital D, destiny. The Gemini principle gives you a model. It shows that the same basic rules of connection, of balance, and of consequence, they apply everywhere, on every scale. And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. This whole explanation started with a video game controller being used to explain the entire cosmos. So if that's true, if the simple systems we use every day are just little reflections of these huge cosmic patterns, then what do the tools you use say about your world? What do the apps on your phone or the routines you follow every day reveal about your own personal destiny?